You are now listening to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. And this is your best friend's best friend, Chidozie Okafor, ready to take you on another journey. Are you with me? Because I'm ready. Let's get it. In this episode, we talk about why it's necessary to have a good circle around you, discuss how boundaries and standards can be very attractive, examine the role that sex plays in a relationship and how to handle celibacy, and uncover ways to build intimacy beyond sex. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm excited to have a good friend of mine named Dorian. He's married to one of my really good friends from undergrad. He's known him for a little bit, and I'm happy for him to come and share his story with us. Welcome, Dorian.
What's going on? What's going on?
And so, like every episode, I want to start with a toast. And so we got this. I want to toast to love, faith, and the difference that support brings to a relationship.
Oh, man.
This is just nice whiskey, though.
Yeah, this is good.
Like I normally do, just want to give people listening the opportunity to learn about the context of your relationship, so they have that as we get started. So, how long have you known your wife?
We've known each other, it'd be almost 3 years.
Okay.
3 years in September.
And how long were you guys dating before you proposed?
It was about 18 months before.
Okay. So did you know her prior to you guys starting dating?
No.
So you met her, it's a romantic relationship? Yeah,
it was one of those. My brother-in-law, I moved to Dallas February 2016, and my brother-in-law, he was on the hunt looking for me to find somebody. And, you know, I wasn't really looking. I was more focused on just trying to work and get to know the city.
Yep.
And he just actually hit me up. He said he sent me a picture of her.
You know, that's important.
Yeah. He sent me a picture of her.
She looks right.
And he was like, "What you think?" I was like, "Oh man, she's very attractive. She's cute." And then the next text was her number.
So he was ready for
Yeah, he was ready. And I was like, all right. And, you know, we started talking like that next day. And then that was on a Saturday. We had our first conversation that Sunday. And then our first date was that following Friday.
And the rest is history.
Rest is history.
All right, so 18 months. You've known her for 3 years.
Yeah.
So that means you guys been married a little over about a year.
No. Married?
Oh, there's an engagement process.
Yeah, engagement. Yeah, we this Saturday it'll make 3 months.
Oh yeah, it was this year. So you guys were engaged for like
about 9
months.
9 months,
Gotcha.
something like that.
Okay. And so what do you do for a living?
So right now, I just took on a new position. I'm actually a community liaison for a Christian school down in South Dallas.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
And what does your wife do?
She's a child psychologist.
Okay. And we like to give people context of, you know, I guess upbringing. And so, what would you say your parents, I guess, marital status, or what was the status looking like when you growing up?
Unfortunately, you know, I am a product of a broken home. You know, my mother and father divorced when I think I was around 4.
Okay.
And then my mom did remarry back in like 8th grade, but they ended up getting a divorce. But they're actually, I mean, I don't really know what they're doing, but they're together. They got something going on. I don't know what it is. And then my dad, he's remarried too. But so, you know, can't say I've truly seen a successful marriage.
Gotcha.
So
would you say that he was in the picture, your father, or he was just not around? Even
I would say he was in the picture, but it was, and to be perfectly honest, me and his relationship it actually grew when he moved to Dallas. And he moved to Dallas about 17 years ago.
Okay.
We actually got closer, and then I've been here about 3 years. So, you know, he was one of those fathers that work ruled his life. And so, you know, we kind of had to take a backseat to the job. So
got you.
Yeah.
And so with your wife, what was her situation growing up?
Completely different.
Okay. In what way?
You know, she's a product of a strong Christian relationship, Christian marriage. Her parents been married 38 years now. One, you know, she's truly been discipled since birth. So, you know, it was completely different from what, you know, what I saw
growing up.
Yeah, completely different.
Gotcha. And do you guys have any children?
No, we don't.
All right, cool. Well, let's just dive into it. And the first question I have for you is, what do you love about your wife?
I would say what I love most is probably, I feel like once we met, I really saw the genuineness in her. And, I feel like people I've dealt with in my past, I felt like I was judged, I feel like with her.
In what way?
I felt like I had to meet a certain standard, or, there was just these preconceived notions or these expectations that they had. And if I didn't hit them, like, what are we doing type thing. So, and, everybody that comes into a relationship is never going to be perfect. So, I think for her, she's actually made me want to become a better man. I've grown in my faith with her. And I've just seen, and I talk to my brothers and, a lot of my family, and they see how much I've grown just in all aspects of life just since she's came into my life. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And this may be part of it, but I like to push people. And so you've told us what you love about her. What makes her special? When you think about, there'll be tons of women that push you in so many ways, but when you think about her, like, what makes her special?
I would say her faith. Her faith, really. I've never had anybody push me and try to guide me along with like biblical principles to just kind of show me the way to be better. And just the way she, I don't know, man. It's just, I see the benefits now, especially when we have children, of discipling your children from birth. And, I see the benefits of it from her. And, I've never had that.
Would you say growing up, religion and faith was a big thing, or it was
for me?
Yeah, on your end.
I went to church out of obligation.
Okay, but
it was never to develop a true relationship with Christ myself.
Gotcha. Like mom said, we're going, so
yeah, we're going, so we're going.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
So for someone that's in that position, right? Let's say someone meets another woman that's like that. What was your initial reaction to it? Were you defiant? Were you fighting it? Was it, as soon as she said it, you realized it? What was that like?
Well, I think for me, I wanted different. I knew when I first moved down here, I had no aspirations or anything of being in a relationship, because I knew at that headspace I wasn't there. But what was different about this one is I knew the next time that next time I went into a relationship, I was going to be 100% in. My goal for that next relationship was marriage. So, in order to do different, you got to want different to do different. And she was truly different. And she was exactly what I was looking for. And I didn't even know it at that moment.
Cool.
So.
And as you were realizing this or having these interactions, and I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, so correct me if I'm wrong. You decided to be in this relationship knowing that you wanted something different. You're seeing something different.
Yeah.
And what's your reaction to it? Was it like, did it feel like opposition? Did it feel like you were bought in immediately because you recognized there was something different?
This is crazy. So, we all got past and everything.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah. It was one of those things. You would know I was truly interested with someone if I actually mentioned her name.
What do you mean?
So like if you ask any of my friends, my family, like, oh, who you going out with? Oh, I'll just be like, I'm going out with a friend, a little lady friend.
Gotcha.
You never knew her name because, but.
You was living that life before.
Yeah, we all got past, man. We all got past. Yeah,
buddy
man,
over here.
Yeah, come a long way, man. Come a long way. But actually, before our first date, everybody knew her name and they seen her picture. And that was like, that didn't happen. So it was just like, this how I knew. I'm like, okay, this is different. So.
And so, we'll go deeper into that. But I want to continue on with these questions that we have up front. And so, you're dating this young lady. Mm-hmm. You have the idea in your head that like to get into a relationship, you're gonna be looking for something different.
Yeah.
And so, I'm assuming overall things are going well. At what point, did you reach the moment in your head where you're like, I think I love this woman?
It was honestly probably one of the worst times, but I saw how real she was. So let's take steps back. So this is prior to me meeting her. Mm-hmm. July of 2016.
At this point, you're still new to the city.
Still new to the city. One of my exes reaches out to me. We're still cool. Mm-hmm. She wants to come down and visit.
Is this like your most recent ex, or someone that's that's just been around lingering?
This is most recent ex.
Okay.
For real. Okay. There was some other people after that, but yeah, this is most recent ex. So, she booked the ticket, whatever. And this was July. I met my wife in September. And then, when I met her, I knew that time was coming up because my ex was coming in for my birthday.
You was doing the math.
Yeah, I was just like, man, either I could be my old self and disappear.
How am I gonna swing this?
Yeah, like how am I gonna do this? I'm like, but then I had those conversations with myself, like, nah, man, if you want different, you gotta do different.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna be honest with her. I'm like, I'm just gonna put it all out on the table. So I let her know.
Who's her? Your wife? Your wife now, or your ex?
my current wife. I let her know, like, hey, a girl that I used to date, she's actually coming into town. I want to let you know. This was planned before I even knew you, but I want to be open and honest with you. Me and this girl, and as I talked to other like friends and stuff after, they were just like, this girl told me like, man, I don't, we just friends. I don't want nothing to do with you, because there was a point in time where I thought that girl was the one.
Yeah,
but clearly it was. I don't know what I was thinking, but
we all grow.
Yeah, man. I thought she was the one, and she was just like, nah, I can't see it. I don't never see you in that light no more. So I said, okay, cool. I left it at that. And so she came. Hold
on. So at this point, you guys have been dating for how long?
Me and my wife at this point?
Wife, you're not wife.
About a month.
And so I'm just trying to put it in perspective for people listening.
Yeah, about a month.
So you meet a guy, your wife meets a guy, things are going well, and then he's like, hey, boo, my ex, we're cool, it's coming in town, we planned this a long time ago, is that okay? Were you asking for permission, or were you like, I'm just letting you know?
Well, so that was the thing. I wanted her to be involved.
Like, you like, come kick it with us too?
Yeah. Yeah. Very stupid looking back on it.
And what was her reaction?
She was cool.
Oh, okay.
She was like, okay, I take him for his word. He say it's nothing. And at this point, my ex had, I didn't really know what she was doing. She was dating girls. Like, I didn't really know. So I was just like,
So for you and that, prior to you meeting your wife now, upon booking that flight, was it just like, hey, this is a friend now, kick it? Or was it like, this is just something that's for fun or whatever?
This is just a friend, but there's probably going to be some benefits to it too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And she was upon the same mindset.
Yeah, okay. For sure. When she got down here. Yeah, for sure.
And so then take us to, okay, y'all link up and your girl is there.
Yeah, so, man.
Talk about put yourself in some positions.
Whew. So I pick her up, I pick up my ex, and then we pick up my wife. First, I was so like nervous in the whole situation.
And she didn't see this coming, the ex. Like that your wife?
No, she knew.
Okay, so she knew.
She knew.
Okay, so it wasn't once she got there.
No.
Okay.
Everybody knew.
Okay, got it.
But what I didn't think was the way my ex was gonna act.
Oh, she probably okay.
Oh man, so we go to pick up my now wife. My ex stays in the front seat. What do you do? I didn't realize it. Like, I'm just dumb at this point, and I'm just like, come on, let's go, because we was going to Houston for my birthday.
Yeah,
and
see, I went on a road trip.
Yeah, the longest trip in my life.
3 to 4 hours in your life.
Oh man, it was horrible. And
so she's in the back seat. She's in
the back seat.
Oh man.
Yeah,
okay.
Trust me, man. It's
okay. I'm sure there's something y'all laugh about now, or not?
Now,
Okay.
We can get to that point now.
Damn, so 4 hours in the back seat. Okay.
And,
what else?
She's trying to engage. The girls acting different. But then, so we finally get to Houston, and I'm just happy to get off the road. Like, we was going to my boy's house, him and his wife, and you know how my wife is. So the girl comes up. We just ate, and we was about to go out. She was like, she bought me a bottle. She's like, we about to go. I want to take you to a strip club.
Yeah, your wife wasn't playing with that one.
No.
You probably didn't even know this to that degree, but...
Not to that degree. Yeah, I didn't at that point. No.
So you're probably like cool, and then you saw her face?
No. I wasn't cool because I'm like, something ain't right. Yeah. Like, you're doing a lot right now. And you could just tell, like I said, it goes to... And I've had girls who, I've talked to about this. They were just like friends, like family. They were like, she didn't want you, but she don't want nobody else to want you. Type thing.
Gotcha. And she was trying to ruin it for you.
Pretty much.
She knew that you weren't for her.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And crazy thing is, she was actually mad at me. But honestly, the best thing that happened that weekend was that night. I mean, it was so much tension in the air.
Yeah.
But one of her brother that she hadn't seen in years actually lives in Houston, and we went to a spot, and he couldn't get in because of his jeans. So she was just like, "I'm gonna go with my brother." I said, "Cool."
You're like, look at God,
look at God, bro, look at God. And I'm like, man, I've never had to like plead my case and like beg and like I mean, because I truly was caught off guard.
So did you have to, or she, or
did I have to
wife,
what?
Like plead your case and
yeah,
and because she was just pissed,
she was done.
She was like ready to be like, drop. Yeah, I'm going to Houston I'm going back to Dallas by myself.
If it wasn't for my now mother-in-law and one of our friends, you know her. If it wasn't for them, like
it's been donezo.
It would have been a wrap.
It's crazy.
So, but what I saw in that scenario was how much she was there for me. Like, I knew she wasn't for the games.
Yeah.
Like, she was serious. Like, she wants something, and she was like, "Oh, if you're not gonna be what I want, we're gonna end this right here because I know what I want."
She wasn't playing.
No, not at all.
Okay.
So yeah, man.
I think about the story and think about in how many different ways that she could have reacted that would have maybe told you something different.
Yeah.
Whether it was her response to your ex not getting out of the front, whether her response to just allowing you to do that and there not be any potential consequences and giving you that latitude. And it would have all told you different things. And for me, I think what comes out of that is it's important to listen to the people that are around you when they give you advice, and that may go against what your initial feelings are.
Yeah.
2, sometimes no reaction is the best reaction. And 3, like I'm hearing that she had boundaries that she wasn't going to break. And those boundaries you respected, and if anything, you found attractive.
Yeah, man, I've never heard boundaries so much until I came into this relationship.
I know her, and she got a ton of them.
Oh man, I've never heard boundaries so much until I came.
I would tell her she got too many, and she need to loosen up a little bit. Man. But I think when you think about your life and forever, it's probably better to have more than less.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and so, what was your reaction to? And we can talk about boundaries in the future, but to some of her boundaries in that situation. And I ask because I think sometimes for women, they may shy away from boundaries because they see something they like and they're like, I don't want to lose it. And some guys are like, well, I know what I want, but I'm going to dabble in it. And if it's going against it, I'm not going to. And so, like, what was your reaction to that?
I mean, I love the fact that she had not only had the boundaries, but she had standards. And that was extremely attractive to me. And that's the thing, like, she wasn't willing to bend or break for anything. And, you know, if this is truly what I wanted, you know, then I got to make some changes within myself. So
I think guys know when a girl's feeling him, right? You know a girl's feeling you.
Yeah.
You know which ones you can test, and where you may have limits or not. At that point, this is a month in, do you feel like she was there already with you, or she was still like on the I'm trying to figure out, get to know him, see what he's about stage?
I would say about 90%. I would say she was all there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she at that time she's already seen enough to know, like, there's a reasonable amount of potential here.
Yeah.
And so, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so let's take a step back, because I think it's easy to get wrapped into the marriage and the relationship, but we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So you were in a new city, you're single. Mm-hmm. What was dating like here?
I didn't.
So you just didn't do it at all?
I worked.
So
I was in retail.
So you were just working all the time.
I did was work.
So you not one person.
Not one.
So you just solo. So had your brother not hit you up about her, you just been probably still working? Like, there was no app. There was no. I mean, meet someone in church.
I was still dealing with people from back home.
Okay,
people from back home.
So you had multiple things that weren't loose ends that weren't closed.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that, because I think, you know, I'm a person that believes it is quite rare to meet someone that has no strings attached to anyone, like completely, just like nothing. And so, why were you keeping those strings along? Like, why is it that they were there? You've moved to a new city, you're trying something different, and so you have these people. Not only is it not convenient because they're far, like, what was the thing about keeping them along? Because I think people want to know, like, why do guys have all these chicks? You know,
I don't know if I have like a true correct answer, but I think it's just, you know, it was just cool, you know, to have those options, you know. I mean, and when I say, like, two of these girls was really trying to, like, move here for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't see it.
So you didn't see it. And so, so you didn't see it. Okay,
So, yeah, I didn't see it, but I would say the difference was I wasn't actually leading them on.
And explain.
So,
because the girl's about to move, and you didn't like say nah.
Okay, so one maybe, but you know, I never talked about relationships. You know, we never talked about any of that. We never talked about actually moving down here. Like you know, I try to keep it. Like, you know, I'm really just focusing on me.
Try to keep it arm's distance.
Yeah. You know, I'm like, you know, what I'm not trying to do is lead you on.
You said that explicitly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there was times where I tried to break it off.
And they were still trying to see what could pop.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see, like, were these people, did they envision, like, a long term, like, we could potentially get married, you're my guy?
One of them for sure.
Or was it just like, this is the relationship I'm in, and I just don't, maybe fear of doing without you, right? But one could see long term with you.
One for sure.
And so you trying to cut this out. You've been explicit about that you don't see a future. You know, one sees one with you.
Yeah.
Is that the one that booked a flight?
Yeah.
So why did you agree to it?
I mean, at that point, man, it was, you know, I had needs as well, man.
Hey,
you know,
just keep it real. Like, because I think what I want people to understand is, like, this is what's real, and so there's a part of the journey that it is the journey, right?
Yeah.
For whatever the motives or reasons why, and I think there's a wisdom that comes from hearing someone else's story that's similar to yours, and they're like, hey, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I need to get out. He's telling me these things. Why am I still here? Right.
Yeah.
And there's also wisdom from like, you're married now. Would you do, like, if you played it back, what would you do?
What I do different. Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're married now. You've transformed in so many ways.
Yeah.
You know, what would you do differently? What would you tell someone in that situation on either side?
Well, so I don't know if this might be farther down in the conversation, but I think what was different, what I would do different now is, I mean, I was out here wilding at one point.
We all are at some point.
Yeah. So, you know, I think one thing for me is the premarital sex. You know, that was the thing where I'm like, it's just creating.
So sex was a big driver of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, at that point, that's pretty much what it was.
So let's say one of them were like, I want to see this, but they cut you off. You'd have been like, done, out of that.
Might have been, yeah.
Or like, oh, girl that came to visit, if there wasn't a likelihood of sex, would she
no, yeah, it'd been done.
She wouldn't have come.
No.
Okay.
No,
so sex was a big part of it.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
And so, let's just dive into it. And so, you know, let's talk about your experiences when it comes to sex. Okay. And so, coming from a situation or an environment where that might be a compelling factor of how the relationship is going, or whether you stay in it or not, whether you see a future in it or not.
Yeah.
How has that changed, you know, over the course of the life you were living to the one you're living now?
Well, little did I know is that person that came down to visit me would be the last time I had sex before me, like, until our wedding night.
Oh, wow.
So,
what do you mean?
After I met her, after she went back home, that's when I pretty much cut everybody off.
Okay.
And not longer after that is when I met my now wife. You know, it was our second date, and I asked her, I said, how important is sex to you in a relationship?
And what made you ask that question? You're trying to see what's up.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get an idea of like where her headspace was. Just, you know, I think we was just still at that point, just trying to learn about each other. And, you know, I definitely learned. You know, she was just like, you know, I don't know how to answer that because I've never had it.
Okay, wow.
And I'm actually saving myself for marriage. And the old me would have been like, oh man, that's good to hear, man. I actually got to get ready to go now. Or like, we would have just, you know, we'd have finished the date off, and then, you know, we just been friends. But like I said, it goes back to I want it different.
Okay.
So when she said that, it actually intrigued me more.
In what kind of way?
I'm like, wow, like, that's amazing. Like, I've never met anybody
and
like that.
For context, how old are you?
I'll be 32.
And she's
same age.
So this was what, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So she's late 20s, early 30s, haven't had sex.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to let people have context. It's not someone's 22. So they've been living without it for a minute. So
for sure.
You could tell this is something important to them.
Yeah.
And what was your response? Like
I said, I was intrigued.
Did you see it as a challenge? Like, I'm going to try to see.
It wasn't I didn't look at it like that. Like, no, because I was like, man, I will not be that one to come before her covenant with God and ruin it.
Yeah.
I said, nah, I'm not going to be that guy.
So was it more pressure? Did you feel more pressure?
To do what?
To like, I guess, see if it works, or
I actually felt less.
Felt less try pressure. Anything?
I actually felt less pressure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I felt like I could honestly just be myself, and we could actually develop a true relationship, you know, and I could really get to know who she was. Because, you know, when you take the physical out, you really got to get to know that person.
Yeah, that's what you do when you're like 70.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you're a different person now. At that moment, you're not the man who you are today.
Am I, like, did it throw me off? Yes.
Yeah, so you're throwing off.
Yeah, it threw me off, but it also was like, okay, this is what you wanted. So I gave you what you wanted. So what are you going to do with it?
But are you, I guess in that moment, are you looking at it in a way where you're like, I recognize that this is like because you just mentioned, like, I've been in these relationships and sex has been a big part of it.
Yeah.
At that point in time, were you aware like sex is a big controlling part of the relationship and this difference is going to be good for me? Or are you just like, wow, this is new?
Yeah, I knew the difference would be good for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely knew it would be better for me. Like I said, I wanted something completely different than what I had been doing. Because I think for me it was, you know, I've always had been kind of like that relationship guy. You know, if you asked me back when I was 18, I just knew I was gonna be married. Been married at this point, but you know, it wasn't in my cards at that time.
Yeah.
So, you know, after, you know, quite a few relationships that didn't work, and after, you know, me getting it out of my system, I was just like, okay, you know, I want different now. So, like I said, when she told me, I was just like, oh, wow, for real. But then it also just like, you know, man, that's, how have you been able to do that? Because I just know how it is, you know, being able to, I mean, I was like 30 years old and nothing.
Yeah, I guess it's like if you never had chocolate before, you don't know chocolate's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't need to try it. But when you know it's good, it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
And so for a guy that's like wants something more with a woman,
yeah,
and I come under I have this podcast under the premise that like marriage is the goal, right? Yeah. And so if a guy's marriage is at some point a goal for him, whether he's in that space or not, to be ready for it, and he meets a woman that is either a virgin, has never had sex, or is choosing to abstain and be celibate, like, I feel people are going to be like, that's commendable. You try. Cool, he tried. He did it. But, like, what does that feel like? Because I know there's times.
Oh,
so,
man.
like, how do you, like, if someone's like, hey, I'm trying to do this and I'm in a situation, like, what do you tell them to, like, to navigate it?
Keep them encouraged.
Yeah, to keep them encouraged or to get through the tough, like someone in addiction, like say drug, like you smoke, you try to get rid of cigarettes. And like, yeah, it took me 3 years to get rid of cigarettes, but I got through it. But like, bro, what did you do to get past, you know, the urges to smoke? So like the urges for sex, and I'm sure you guys were laid up at some times and had intimate moments, and there was some urges, and you just like, I mean,
there was times where, you know, we went a little further than we should, but I mean, we never went to
never crossed that line.
No, never did that. But
and in those moments, and we're humans, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so you're in the mood, things are happening. You get close to that line, closer than like your break. You know how you the break point.
Yeah.
And then you stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that frustrating to you? Like the next day, like
in the moment, yes, yes, in the moment, yeah. But when you look back on it, you was like, nah, I'm glad I stopped. I'm glad we stopped. Like, nah, we need to do this the right way. But in the moment, yeah, it's extremely tough. I was like, man, I had an accountability partner.
With her or someone else?
Someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, someone else. Like, one of my homies, I was like, bro, like, man, I just need somebody to talk to. Like, it's tough.
And so you just get out the bed or get out and be like, hey, let me give you a phone call. You get some ice. Like, what do you do? Go take a shower?
Man, you know, there was a point where I feel like I was like trying to work out more. I was like, I gotta get rid of this energy like somehow. So or
this man's like, I'm in the best shape of my life right
or
now.
I was like, I'm just gonna continue to try to dive in my work or like try to do something to take my mind off of it.
That's crazy.
Because it's, I mean, to go from where I was to like nothing, and yeah, I mean,
I can imagine. For me personally, I've known her for a long time, and so I don't know if I could ever do that. I would hope that I can aspire to do that.
Yeah.
But I've always been under the mindset that like if I dated someone and they said they didn't want to have sex, I would always respect it.
Yeah.
And not try to pressure them.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I've been in a situation where, we met, hanging out. There's definitely a physical connection. She says she doesn't want to because she knows what it does to her head. So I'm respecting it. But then on the flip side of it, the temptation's coming from her. Mm-hmm. Because she hits me up late.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what we're doing at this time.
Yeah.
And then we get to a point and then nothing happens. I'm like, yo, you were doing this to yourself.
Like,
and
man,
so,
you set me up.
And so on your end, were there ever moments where you had to pump the brakes because she might have got caught up? Because I think it's easy, like when you say you don't drink and you never see alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And then there's alcohol there, and it's like, well, it's here, so then you embellish too much.
Yeah.
And so, like, if she never was dating anybody she cared about, it might be easier to say I'm abstaining, right? Mm-hmm. But then when someone that she likes, she's being intimate with, and then you get in the mode, and like, were there ever moments where you had to be like, I know this is what you want, so we gotta cool it?
I would say maybe once, maybe. Like I said, it only happened maybe a handful of times.
Got you. And what was that experience like? Where you're like, man, I could probably get it right now, but
man. And the crazy thing is, it always happened like when we were in like Ohio. I was just like, man, what is it about being back at home that
we can take more trips?
Like, man, what are we doing?
That vacation life.
Yeah, man. It was. I would say for the most part, we did pretty well.
Did you feel like you took it on as like a burden? Your burden is not the right word, but like this was obviously something that she brought to the relationship and said she wanted to. Mm-hmm. And so did you kind of take that as your mantle too, or was it just more like, hey, this is yours, if you slip up, it's you?
No, I took it on that it was my mantle as well.
And was that important for her, for you to do that? Or
honestly, I don't know, because she's never voiced that, but I mean, she had her standards, so I guess
you knew she wasn't playing with them.
No, not at all, not at all. But no, it was more or less it was me that really wanted to accomplish that goal, per se, like
in terms of making sure y'all. But I guess especially once you guys became serious,
yeah,
that you wanted to
make sure that we was
upheld that,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's admirable, and I think it is a lesson to show that, like, if that's your standard and I don't want to say as a woman, because it could be a guy too.
Yeah,
if that's your standard, that you don't want to have sex, or you know that it clouds your perspective, or it's a burden for you, or it makes you feel more than you should.
Yeah,
that it's important to stick to that, and the person that is for you will respect it. But I think it's also important to show people, if they're in that situation, that there's ways to overcome it, get past it, to support someone in that. And my question leading to it, I have an assumption of it, that it's not the end of the world. And so for you to highlight that, like, how was the relationship different now that wasn't like a thing?
And hold that question. What I was gonna say, just kind of, it goes to, you have to be 100% in. Like, say you meet a girl, right, and she is like, no, I'm actually saving myself for marriage. If you don't know in your heart that that's something you can do, then as a man, you got to be able to like, okay, I appreciate that. I feel like it's better that I let you do you, because that's not where I'm at in life.
Gotcha.
And as men, as men, we got to be truly open and honest, because you have to, like, especially if you've been active and you meet somebody that's not truly your mindset. As men, we got to be open and honest to say, okay, I appreciate that, and as a man, I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's not really where I'm at in life right now. But don't go into a situation and you meet somebody and that's their goal, and you're like, okay, and you try to just ride it, act like and think that it's gonna change, because in most cases it's not, and you're just creating frustration for yourself at that point.
No, that's real.
So as men, man, we we got to man up and be open and honest. And if we're not at that place in life, then we just lying to ourselves and lying to them.
Would it be different if she was like, I'm abstaining? Because I think when people hear virgin, it's like this bigger thing versus someone that like, I'm choosing to be celibate. Does it feel different? Is
to me, I think it's the same.
What if they're like, I just stopped having sex a month ago and I'm trying to be celibate? Because people are different.
Yeah,
right?
some people are different.
And you don't know if to take it serious or because I think a fear of guys, right?
Yeah.
Is like, I don't want to be that guy. They're like, oh, you want to be celibate, and then we break up, and now you just
out here
living your best life, right? And so, are there situations where you are doubting that? And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but just trying to get perspective, right?
I think it's you should be able to tell by the way she acts.
In the person. It's more the person
it's
than
the person. It's the person.
when the timing of when it started and what they're doing.
Exactly. Like, just the way she moves, you should be able to tell, like, is she just
playing?
Just talking, or is she for real about it? Because, I mean, it's something to be for real about. So
I think that's something that some women think about. Yeah. Whether it is maintaining their virginity or realizing the impact that sex has in their relationship personally, or whether it's a relationship with God that calls them to say, hey, at this point, I'm not going to have sex. Yeah. And so I think that's probably becoming more and more common in some aspects. And so I think it's good to hear that there's stories where men are navigating that. Yeah. I don't want to say dealing with it because it's not like you're being punished, but navigating that and to understand, like, it can add value. And so going back to it, did you feel like there was a change? Like, you're not having sex. That's not an aspect of your relationship. But you guys are connecting. Yeah. And so what was that like? I mean, how is it different from other relationships?
We truly had a friendship. I feel like if, some of those situations from our past, if you took the physical out of it, what we've been doing. They was cool people. Yeah. But I just don't know if I could see it going anywhere if I took that out of it. So, but, with my wife, it allowed us to truly develop a true connection. And, I saw, I was able to see all facets of her. And, we was just able to really grow together in different ways.
And, as I think about it, part of what I'm, I guess, trying to go through in my head is that, how would I feel in that situation to understand, like, what to do about it? And so you're in this situation where you see potential in this person. Mm-hmm. You recognize that, like, this is different but good for you. Yeah. It's been tough, but you've told yourself already that you're in it. Yeah. And you can do it. Was there some concern, like, in the back of your mind, like, what if it's bad? Or what if it's whack? Like, what if it's...
Like sex?
Yeah. Like, I think people think about it. People want to know, like, this is the person that I can have sex with for the rest of my life. I want to taste this. I want to taste the cake before I buy this cake. I want to know if it's good or not. Yeah. Was that something that lingered in the back of your mind, or... Nah. Or you just felt like it wasn't important?
I think it was one of those things where, and like I said, this is where it kind of goes, having the importance of, having other like-minded brothers around you. Yep. Because I had some people, especially like premarital and things, that some guys that were in similar situations that I was.
Were or were not?
They were. Okay. Where they had married, their wives were virgins or had been saving themselves for marriages. And, I think for me, it wasn't never like the old me. Yeah, I would have been like, nah, man, like, I'm not really at the point trying to, like, teach. Like, we 30 years old. But in the same sense, I'm the only person that she'll be with. Period. And we can truly grow together. Like,
she's gonna learn exactly what you like.
Exactly. And we can, like, really grow together. Yeah. Like, in that aspects of a relationship. Yeah. So
no, it's fair. It's fair. But
then it takes the pressure off.
It takes the pressure off. But I mean, there wasn't a concern or thought like, what if this is horrible for the rest of my life? Yeah, we got this great bond. We best friends. But like, I mean, I'm not even wanting to do it because it's that bad.
I would say, nah, not for real.
Okay. I ain't here to change your answer. I'm just,
I
know people think about that.
Yeah, I mean, that did the thought come to my head? Yeah, but I was like, that's not the most, that's not important. I was just like, if we're in this together, we can grow together and we can make it better. Yeah. And like I said, it going back to how was it? I mean, it took the pressure off of me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when we meet a girl and we finally get to that point, like we trying to like knock it out the park.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is my wife.
Like, I will be your wife. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that'll be my wife.
And so, I'm trying to like just think about questions that people will have related to it. And so, people that I get to like, and I've had people talk and on earlier episodes say like, if sex is your foundation, like you're kidding yourself because like people's bodies change, people's libidos change, people have kids. And so that, the frequency and the amount of sex isn't constant. And when you think about how much you have sex, like in your lifetime, it's like a fraction of your life. Like a small fraction that people tend to put a lot of weight on. However, a lot of people have said that it's important to have that physical connection because that is what separates a friend from a really, really good friend from like a marriage. That's like the special part of it.
Yeah.
And so how did you, ensure that there was still like a physical connection, strong connection, if you guys weren't having sex?
I think it just goes back to, although we weren't intimate sexually, we were intimate in other areas, from listening to spending truly quality time to, learning each other's love language, and really, doing those things that were meaningful to each other. We talked and she used to tell me some things that she dealt with in the past or she never experienced in the past. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to show her something that she's never dealt with before. Or, it's just, I tried to make sure every moment that we spent together was meaningful, from just random surprises of like sending flowers to her job or a surprise trip to San Francisco or just doing the little things to keep things going. I try to be intimate in other ways. I mean, intimacy isn't just sex.
Well, that's our time for today. I want to thank you for sharing. I want to thank everyone out there that's listening. If you have any questions, topics, thoughts, or input, please send them to me on Instagram at ThinkLoveWife. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. We're on all major platforms. In the next episode, we're going to talk through the struggles of going through tough personal seasons, the value men place on leadership, how your pride can block the support you need, as well as the impact of not having proper male role models can have on your relationship. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope the conversation keeps going.